People who want to buy a Mazda CX-3 would not look at other options because they know that this is not the most spacious nor the most affordable car in the segment, but its desirable design and fun driving dynamics is enough for them to look past its shortcomings and put their money down for one. With the facelifted model that was launched in 2018, Mazda has further refined and sharpened their compact crossover. But is it enough to have people eyeing at the competition to look its way? We'll find out today. This car review episode is powered by the all-new Petronas Premix 95 with Pro Drive. First things first, we need to address how gorgeous this Soul Red crystal paint is. It's a triple layer finish using Mazda's Takaminori painting technology. Compared to Soul Red, the Soul Red crystal has 20% greater saturation and 50% more depth. Under this beautiful sunshine, the paint is just glistering. It looks great on the CX-5, but I think the colour suits this CX-3's sportier and compact appearance better. With the facelift exercise, Mazda has done some changes to the exterior to keep the car's aesthetics ahead of the competition. Up front, you get a new 3D grille with 4 horizontal slats, gloss black LED fog lamp housings, and chrome trims on the lower lip. All these, I feel, gives the front end a neater look. It now rides on new 10-spoke alloys measuring 18 inches in diameter as before, wrapped in 21550 profile rubbers. The groove and edges makes the wheel appear larger than the actual diameter suggests, and I quite like that. Completing the facelift look are these gorgeous restyled LED tail lamp graphics taken straight from the CX-5. The tailgate opens up to 350 litres of boot space, which pales in comparison to the Honda HR-V's 430 plus litres and the Toyota CHR's 388 litres. But still, the CX-3's boot space is 5 litres larger than the Subaru XV's. While the changes to the exterior are mostly nip and tuck, the cabin is a big step up. Let's start with the center console here. The buttons are now arranged like how you get on the latest CX-5 with the volume knob over to the left and the sports mode switch positioned to the right of the gear lever. Over to the driver's side, you find a new typeface for the instrument cluster, which I think looks a lot sleeker than before. The heads-up display also now has a white illumination instead of the blue analogy type from the pre-facelift model, and it looks a lot more modern now. Although the information display is not as sophisticated as what you get on the Big Brother CX-9, it does give you speed readout, turn-by-turn navigation, and blind spot monitoring information. The multifunctional steering wheel with pedal shifters is also a new design with thinner spokes and higher quality buttons with a more satisfying click. Other less obvious changes include this black bezel around the 7-inch MZD touchscreen infotainment system replacing the silver casing from before. Now I think it looks really smart and it doesn't have harsh reflections under the sunlight. Moving to the center dash, the leather trim and chrome strip that runs across the dashboard has made way for this really nice suede trim. Now I've lied to a couple of people saying it's Alcantara, and they didn't bat an eye. The suede trim is also found around the side door panels, and if you notice, there's no longer a two-tone black and red upholstery. Instead, you get a black theme across the cabin with grey contrast stitching. But there are still some sporty elements in here, like this Fox carbon fiber finish around the window switches, brushed aluminium on the door handles, and red accents around the air vents. You no longer find the fancy leather and suede combination seats replaced by a full leather treatment with 10-way power function for the driver with 2 memory settings. The memory function is a one-touch operation and I feel that it makes the cabin that much more premium. Now because Mazda has replaced the manual parking brake for a really convenient electronic parking brake with auto hold function, it frees up a lot of space for the center console for a center armrest, finally! Inside there's an awkwardly positioned cup holders and some storage space. My only complaint is how flimsy the center armrest feels and it doesn't click into place. But it's cladded in nice soft touch material, which is nice. The added storage space really adds to the car's overall practicality, but my favourite thing is how the side door bins can fit a water bottle. What's also really nice is that the CX-3 and all new Mazda models for that matter comes with dedicated pre-installed coil-type floor mats with proper anchoring points. No need to go to accessory shops to get those death traps that might slide around and catch between your pedals. I'd say the CX-3 facelift is finally a proper SUV because it now has a center armrest at the back here with 2 cup holders. Interior space has never been Mazda's selling point. Kneeroom is kinda tight, headroom is alright. Fitting 3 back here is gonna be quite a squeeze though. But the only saving grace is when you're seated upright, the sitting position is quite comfortable. Just like the pre-facelift model, you don't get rear air vents nor USB charging ports like on other newer competitors. Before we get on with the driving, first thing you'll notice in the CX-3 is you're seated nice and low to the ground. Driving position is spot on, giving you a good feel of the car's balance. But because this is an SUV, you still get good visibility outwards. But my only complaint is that the door-mounted side mirrors can be a bit obstructive. Mazda's Jinbai Itai philosophy is loosely translated to horse and rider as one, the epitome of harmonious connection between driver and car. Every detail from the power delivery, transmission, throttle pedal, brakes, suspension have been deliberately calibrated to feel as natural as they can to the human body. The sense of connection between you and the CX-3 is of course not as unfiltered as sports cars of the 80s, but compared to modern machines of its era and segment, nothing feels quite as exciting to drive. Remember, this platform is coming up to 5 years old, but it can still stack up against newer and more sophisticated rivals like the Toyota CHR and Subaru XV. Granted, they are really good cars, but it just illustrates how capable the CX-3 is. Steering is nicely weighted, fast and accurate, but not to the extent that makes the car feel dirty. The car tracks very progressively according to your inputs, and this sense of connection between the road and the car is really hard to come by these days. It just leaves you lusting for more corners to conquer. But before you get too enthusiastic around the bends, I recommend you to swap out these Toyo Prosecs for stickier rubbers to fully unleash the potential of the CX-3's handling prowess. Complementing the brilliant Skyactiv chassis is a 2-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder Skyactiv G petrol engine making 154 horsepower and 204 Nm of torque. This makes the CX-3 the most powerful car in its class. Thanks to direct injection and a high compression ratio of 14:1, you get maximum torque from a lowly 2,800 RPM. This makes the CX-3 a very nippy car to drive in town with strong in-gear acceleration. It doesn't run out of puff even till the 6,000 RPM red line. No trendy CVTs here, just an honest 6-speed automatic transmission with a brilliant shift logic even in its default setting. If you're feeling a little bit enthusiastic, flick the sports mode switch and the transmission will hold down a lower gear for longer. But for maximum engagement, operate the paddle shifters yourself. GVC is essentially a very trick-torque vectoring system, but instead of helping you corner harder and faster, its main purpose is to keep the car more neutral around the bends for a more comfortable ride. Most of the passengers in the CX-3 share one common remark. Wow, the car very stable, oh? You see, that's the beauty and effect of GVC. When you get thrown around less, it gives you the impression that the car is a lot more stable and comfortable. With the facelifted model, Mazda claims that NVH has been improved with the use of thicker door panels, headliner, rear door glass, as well as upgraded door seams. Yes, NVH is a big step up from before. Most noticeably, there's lesser wind noise at highway speeds. Also, just lesser cabin intrusion in general. It's a commendable effort by Mazda to create a more refined cabin, but NVH is still not the best out there. Other welcome additions in the cabin include this auto-dimming rearview mirror, blind spot monitor, and rear cross traffic alert. All these makes the CX-3 even more pleasant and safer to drive in the city. All these new features come at the expense of the powered sunroof, which I feel it's a very fair trade-off. Although you still don't get the full suite of iActive Sense safety technologies such as autonomous emergency braking and adaptive front lighting system. So is this premium and handsome looking CX-3 the perfect car? Of course not, and here are 3 reasons why. While the 18-inch alloys looks really good on the outside, the suspension just can't seem to iron out the bigger bumps, sending a sharp jolt into the cabin on your way down. It filters out undulations fairly well, but you really do have to slow down when approaching a bump or bigger potholes. Secondly, while NVH has been significantly improved, the engine noise under heavy loads took me by surprise. It's unnecessarily loud. Listen. If you're someone with a heavier right foot like my colleague Eugene, long-distance journey could be a bit unpleasant. Lastly, space. If you plan on having this as a family car, it could be quite the challenge. Because like I've mentioned earlier, knee room is limited and shoulder room with 3 at the back is just tight. Can't imagine how you're going to manage if you have to fit a child seat back there. But if you look at the overall packaging and positioning of the CX-3, those cons could be overlooked as the car's sporty character. Big wheels, tight interior, and sweet engine note. Not only that, it looks good, handles beautifully, and feels very premium in here. So, is this car for you? Well, if you're looking for a compact SUV that handles well and feels properly premium inside and out, then yes. But if you're looking for something a little bit more spacious for your growing family, then probably not. For more information of the all-new Mazda CX-3 facelift, do log on to AutoBuzz.my. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell icon to receive a notification whenever we upload a new video. As always, thanks for watching. My name's Adrian, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This car review episode is powered by the all-new Petronas Premix 95 with Pro Drive. Move like never before. Shh! The epitome of harmonious because it now has a center armrest at the back with two cup holders.